In today's video, we're game planning to stop the big plays. Hey, what's going on YouTube? Mr. Football here today, and today I'm back with part 4 of our defensive game plan series. We're going to be looking at formations and plays today. We're going to be mostly logging our formations. We're going to start kind of building those into our practice plan. We're going to go ahead and start kind of showing you how we make those. And it works really well if you have your magic script set up and if you have the Hudl. If you have Hudl PlayBook, it's like a $200, maybe a $200 extension, but it's worth it to me if you can do this. Otherwise, there's other ways you can do it. We have this printout here of our formation chart. Back when we scouted Miami, we came up with 9 different formations that we could see. Now, we may not see every one of these formations, but I wanted to kind of take a dive in looking at these formations and just seeing how they're going to affect us. So, their main formation that they came out with was gun tray. All right, where, gun tray, you've got a tight end, mostly to the strong set of the receivers. They can offset in some ways, and I think we had one of those offsetting formations, what we would just call gun pro twins, just because the pro side is over to the right and the twin side is over to the left. So that's kind of some different things as far as the formations we could see. There's really not much different. It changes the strength of our defense when we see stuff like that. But then we have some real basic ones like doubles. All right, everybody runs a doubles. Twins formation. I just went through all of these formations. We came up with 9. Just based on percentages, it's kind of hard to see. Well, we only saw 38 total snaps. Well, most likely in a high school game, you're going to have more than that. But, I just had a very small sampling size of this. But one of the things that I look at is, well, you have all these formations. We could see all of them, but we've got to think in the right situations. We may see some of these, like pro tight. Like, we may not see this pro tight formation until they get, 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. And so, is that really a big thing for our game plan? Probably not. We're not going to really concern ourselves with that. But the thing that we need to do is to try to look at how we're going to defend and line up to these formations, just to make sure that we're all covered here. And so one of the things that I utilize is the playbook feature. And what we do in the playbook feature is some things, and I used to do this a lot more, but what I did eventually is I would just make a install. So I would make it in the offensive section so it recognizes these formations. And so we'll just call it Miami formations. Okay. And we'll take a look at that. And so what we'll do is we'll add plays, a single play. We'll create a new one, but and you'll see that I have some of these formations already in here just because my Hudl recognizes these. And so what I do with this, and this is the exact formation that we saw, okay, here, other than just them offsetting the running back, okay? But, that's a simple adjustment that we can make. Pre-snap, we can set this guy to motion here, and then they run their zone play or whatever they do. But for whatever reason, we can start to set these formations. We can start to look at, our fronts that we use and kind of see and build these formations. We may want to send this to our coaches. We may want to send this to our staff and kind of look at the things they do, within some of the formations. Okay, and I'm just kind of setting all my guys up here. So, that's kind of one of the first ones that we do. That's just the formation. Like on Monday, what we do is we go out, real early in practice, and we just go through, defensive formations real quick and just kind of roll through them, see what they do. There's not really a play to set here, so we can just go ahead and create it and then just start from another blank slate. We look back over here, gun doubles. Okay, and we'll go ahead and set that running back there. And we won't really have any problems with this one. We see this formation a lot. So, it's easy to just throw your guys in there and place them. And this goes really quick once you have this stuff entered, and you can start doing this a lot quicker. Some of the other ones like gun twins, I'm not really. I'll throw in gun twins, show you guys how we do that one. They were a little different, so they offset, and that's the thing. Like, I don't like to do it left and right. I don't like to really set things left or right. That's just, I just, put it in there as the formation and then just make those tweaks. Whether I want to run the play to the left or to the right, we can almost assume that, if they run a play to the right, they've probably got it to the left. So, we just have to look in those situations. Why are they running plays, a certain way? And so that's kind of one of the concerns that we'll have when we look at this. And all I'm doing is just going through and, adjusting our players to their formations. And going through this, and we'll do one more here and kind of start going through some of the plays that they run out of these formations. We'll go through some of these, and then in the next video we're actually going to make our practice script for seeing these plays, and then a little later on in this series, we'll talk about what we want to run against Miami. All right, so going back, we'll do the final one. That's probably going to give us some adjustments. And you can throw in the trips one because they ran that one 4 times, the 5th most run formation here. But we'll do gun trips closed. So gun trips closed. There it is. Set up. And, they put, this was obviously when I had a team that put their number 3 on the line. So, their number 1's always on the line. And another thing that I'm not really paying attention to here that I normally would is I'm keeping all of these colors consistent. Usually, for me, I make red the tight end. Purple is usually like a fullback, H-back type guy. I know he's out there as a split, but that's just kind of how if we're using these guys as scout team guys, I try to keep the colors similar to where like blue doesn't have to line up in the backfield if he's a receiver guy. So that's kind of one of the things that I think about. Okay, so we have our formations built in here in our install, and what we'll do from here is we'll just do like one play each from each of their formations, their top formations. So we'll create a new play once again, and then we'll go back to gun tray since that was their favorite formation. We're going to run the over front. That's our base defense, so we're going to run that against them. Get our guys set up here how they need to be. And what we'll do is build their first play. We'll run their play against our defense. They ran zone read. They ran it 2 out of the 9 times out of this formation. And so we're going to count that, for this. And normally we would look at, other things that they run within their offense. Well, they're kind of a zone scheme because, I'm seeing zone read out of the trips closed. They ran that once. They had zone out of, the double slot. So we see zone a lot. And we assume if they run zone, they're going to run zone read. So they obviously wanted to run zone read. The first thing with their formation is that little motion, with the tailback. If we want to tell that guy pre-snap just to do it, because they could always send somebody else in motion. They're just kind of putting that guy there. They line him up there, then move him. And so essentially what they're doing here in zone read, and we need to refresh ourselves here back with this play. We can go back and look and see what they do with this formation. And obviously Wisconsin's in a little bit different of defense than we are, but we can see, who they're reading here. And that's kind of the key. They're reading the end man on the line of scrimmage. You can see the quarterback is putting his eyes right here on this defender. We'll show you here. So he's keying this defensive end standing up here, and he squeezes down. So that's, the key for him to give the ball, and let his offensive lineman do the work and let his back, make that happen. But, as you can see, they're going to eventually, this guy makes the wrong decision. This guy's going to pull it. So we're going to have to, adjust for that. And so what we'll do, we're going to make sure that our left tackle doesn't block that guy. So he's going to be moving up, and we're going to do the zone kind of scheme to this. Like these guys will combo to this linebacker, We kind of got to look at the tight end, see what the tight end does. Their combo in there to the linebacker from what it looks like as well. So they're just kind of they had 3 linebackers in there, but we can almost assume that this guy's going to probably go out and reach next level. We look at their receivers and see what their receivers do. Are they running an RPO? It looks like they're just going to stock. So they're just going to block the man head up on them. Okay. And that's all they're simply doing. Like, they're not doing really anything too fancy, but they're just running a simple zone play and fitting it in there. But the thing is like, we can also put this as a read play, okay, and go ahead and call it. We'll go ahead and put it in here as zone read, okay. Sometimes when you put that in there, it messes up, because if you've got other plays called that, it'll filter that in there. So we start over, create another play. We'll go to the next formation, and we look at bubble. Okay, well, we got our first pass play. We'll take a look there. It just, from what it looks like, and this is easy, they're just bubble screening to their number 2s. So that one's pretty easy. I might even have that play in here already. So gun, doubles, play is bubble. And we got to set it up so it looks like their formations. They're going to block us kind of similar. The only thing that I would say that they might do different, if I'm kind of looking at it here, just based on the structure of Wisconsin, because they're too high safety, I would probably, it's getting out. They're throwing, if you notice. And one thing that we'll just kind of do right here is we'll make this adjustment. We can move the whole formation over here. We can say they're on the hash, and we can, because that's going to create problems for us defensively. If they've got numbers here, little numbers advantage. So that's pretty simple. And now that I kind of look at it here, that's probably it's good in a way. We'll have the sideline to kind of help us out here, but they pretty much just went up and blocked. Number 1 went and blocked for the corner. They threw the screen, so we could run this play on either hash. That's kind of one of those plays, field and boundary wise. Kind of what they do. Let's see, which way to the back line up. That's kind of you don't always have to think about those things, but you can see what he did there. They kind of gave that little token fake with there. And, the offensive line, we don't really, it's hard to kind of watch the guys, but, for simplicity, we'll just say that, they're just kind of half slide, blocking us like that, and, they're getting it out there. So, that's the play. That's all we really have to do. Okay. Play number 3. Going back out of gun twins, they have a regular zone, but let's do counter read, because I think this was the big play. Yeah, so this is a big play. All right, this is a big play for them. This was counter read. They had ran some counter in the past here, so we're going to go ahead and this is a big play for us. So we need to go ahead and put it in the playbook, get it going. Obviously, the down and distance situation, they were deep in their own territory here when they did this. So, there's our formation. We've seen that. The play is counter read. And we'll go ahead and line up our same front here. And this is how I would, if we're calling our base defense, this is what I'm doing versus Miami. This is how we're going to line up against them. I've not really talked about, our total game plan yet of what we're trying to do. But this is just kind of part of it. So it's counter read. So we look. One thing that we know it's counter read is that they are leaving one of the defensive ends there to be kicked, and so they leave the away side defensive end. Nobody blocks him. He squeezes down. The quarterback finds a bubble to run through. And he takes it the distance for 62 yards. So all we're going to do is just kind of block we're just going to show, how they would do it against us. And, and sometimes you have to play with, well, are they going to do a certain, scheme versus us? We can just say, based how they're going to line up and run counter, we could expect to see something like this where the left guard's going to kick our end, the back down here. So he's on this side. He's running the counter action this way, following his blockers. But the thing that, and the way that we can do this in practice is we can go ahead and draw this up and just say the quarterback's got this already. And he's just going to run it and pull it and kind of give our defense a look at that pull there. We'll have this guy just blocked down. They all just kind of wash down here. You kind of notice there, but for that much, let's see if they got 2 receivers to this side, so we'll go ahead and throw one of those guys. We'll throw the blue receiver over here. That'll kind of change up it'll change up our strength, but not really. I mean, well, now that I think about it here, let's see if we can flip it here. No, I don't want to do that. But see, like the way that we do this, we're gonna have a strength call to this because they don't run. Okay, so let me rework this one. I'll be back in just a second. Okay, so here we go. So I've got it now, and all I'm going to do here is just draw the quarterback's pull here. We can even write a note on here to read this guy. If we want to leave up a bubble there to say that, hey, we want to read the end here, or just show it in practice, get that pull for the quarterback. The quarterback was their most dangerous player. So that's something that we'll kind of look at there. We'll do one more play here, and then that'll be kind of it for this video. We'll try to see. Let's throw in a pass. Let's throw in not a quick game, but let's actually do like a pass play of some kind. We'll find one here in the formations. And so out of trips closed, we'll go ahead and do. All right, this is a good one. We'll do tailback screen. All right, so we'll throw that one in there. That's a good one. You want to include screens. If they do any type of screens in the game, we want to throw those in there. So that was out of that. Let's see. That was a close. So gun, trips closed. And I want to say that we'll flip this formation. We just simply flip horizontal, flip it. I say the back is on the tight end side. Is that right? Am I right with that? Nope, he's on the other side. Okay. Like I said, doesn't matter. You can play with that. I really don't like to mess with the running back's alignment. To me, it's not really that big of a deal. And like I said, it's not really that big of an issue for me. And so we'll just put him there. We know how they're going to run the screen. We just have to kind of set it up. Trips gives us, some adjustment problems with what we'll do. We can do different things depending on whether we're playing man or zone. But we'll go ahead and just say that we're playing zone on this play. And so I would say right now, we have a roll check to trips. And so our roll check pretty much just puts the trip side in a quarter situation. And then we play half or man on the backside. And so, being that we are a divorced call system as far as our strength goes, like we're going to set our strong safety to the 3 receiver side. We're going to set our weak safety, our bandit to the tight end side essentially. But we're also going to set our run strength to the tight end because they're more likely to run, to our 3 technique side. So we want that to be set up like that. But the thing that we look for here, all right, we go back to the screenplay, kind of just watch them run through this one time. It's pretty quick. It's just, a little flash screen out there. The O-line blocks, and they, you can see what look to be the guards flash down, and you can see the tight end. He looks like he's got a guy to go block, so we'll make a note of that. We'll say he goes and blocks blocks the weak side linebacker. just out of this. And you can see just kind of where he goes. Like, he's going for that guy. If you see our weak side linebacker drop here, there he is. And so we're going to say that the center stays in. Pretty much the guards are the only ones that look like they released. But, they could all release. They may have a rule set to where, if they're not covered, they may just go ahead and go downfield and block. So, we may set these guys up to, pass set here, and then just take off and release, because they all just kind of set. And I've seen where, the offensive line will just all set and, take off. They'll, do 2 kick steps and then, go block somebody. So, but like I said, those are some things that can happen. We will want to kind of just look. We'll throw the running back, his ball out there. We'll let him release through. Kind of gets to the flat down there. Let me draw that line better. We'll just say he releases through like that. We'll give the quarterback kind of give that look to where he's dropping back like it's a pass and then dumps it off as the screen there. As you can see. We'll watch it one more time. And you can see we watch the receivers and kind of down here on the bottom, kind of see what they do. They just run routes. So they're just trying to run, 3 of our guys out of the play. So, we'll just kind of make them just run a verticals concept on this side and just run everybody off. But that's pretty much our game. I mean, this is a very small part of our whole game plan. And this really isn't probably the best example we can do for you guys as far as the way that I go through and game plan. It's way more extensive. There's more plays. But the more plays that you get in there and start to look at, you start to see what the team is going to be good at. I know we just looked at 4 plays here in 4 formations, and throughout the time of this video, there's really not a whole lot more to say. I mean, there's so much more to say, but it's really hard to game plan with, such little information that we have. We know that we probably could see a screen of any kind. So, we want to make sure that was a big play for him. So, we're going to make sure that that's, taken care of. So in the next video, in part 5, we'll talk about, our practice script. I'll show you guys how to make a magic script, which is basically going to be basically the sheet that we go off of in practice to see these plays. I'll show you how I use it, and use that as my defensive game planning practice script to see the plays that I want to see and what situation, and we can kind of build those from there. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This has been part 4 of our defensive game plan series for defensive game planning for the Miami Hurricanes. Hope you guys enjoyed this today. And I'm Mr. Football. Check me out on Discord. We do a lot of stuff on Discord. We've got a little coaches section on there. Be sure to check out Instagram. And I also have started back on my Twitter. So please check out my Twitter account. It is Mr. as in MRFB Football. Or excuse me. It's MRFB Coach. Mr. Football Coach. You can find me there on Twitter and interact with me on there. But we will see you guys next time. I'm Mr. Football, and I'm out of here.